Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Canucks. My name is RevTrev, and today I'm pumped because we have a draft special, an NHL draft special. The draft is right around the corner, and I'm going to be doing my top 5 positional rankings. Yes, you heard that right. Now, there's going to be some of these things that I have on my list that's probably going to surprise you. So you want to make sure you stay tuned. And it's okay to disagree, okay? But these are my top 5 provisional rankings. I'm going to do forwards, centers, defensemen. We're not doing goaltenders today. Just it's going to be too long a video. And yeah, so I'm glad you're here. Glad you're pumped about the draft. So am I. I wish it was happening now. The NHL final is one of the best so far in the longest time. These games are absolutely nuts, and a lot of teams are drafting for the future so they can be in those spots one day too. Glad you're here. Let's get into my top 5 positional rankings. Hit the promo and get right into it. All right, so as we dive into this NHL draft video, I do want to remind us there are so many good players, and this is one of those years where people are saying it's not really that good, and everyone's like trying to trade their picks, and they're saying next year is better. But the closer it gets to this, they're realizing there's some really good players that are available there's going to be booms and busts. There's going to be some players that are going to be absolutely stellar, and we're going to look back and go, why did they draft this guy over this guy? And, like Sider, for example, for Detroit, could have had him earlier, but they passed on him, and next thing you know, he's just destroying the league. And he was, what is he, 5th in Norris voting this year, like crazy. And there's going to be some of those players. If there's a year that you want a defenseman, it's this year. You want to be top 10 and you want a defenseman, this is the year to have it. So let's dive in. Let's go right into the defenseman, right? Let's dive in because that is probably where they're the most rich. I think that centers are a little bit weak this year. The forwards, top end, good. Rest of it can be debatable. But as regarding the defenseman, it is loaded, jam-packed, and I'd love to hear your comments on what you think about these things. Okay, let's dive into my top 5. Okay, so this is actually starting to become more of the popular trend of what it's looking like. I was early on saying Chase Reed as was my number 1 defenseman. I love his speed. I love his size. I love that he's a right-handed shot defenseman. I love how he scores. I really, really like Chase Reed. And American-born defenseman, a lot to like. This is why I think when San Jose gets to 2, everyone thinks it's a no-brainer. They're going to go with one of the forwards. But I think that they have to take a serious look at Chase Reed because he is an elite level. He's going to be an elite level defenseman one day. And he's going to be one of those guys you're going to have for 12 to 15 years, potentially, obviously health depending, but he's going to be that good. Now, is he going to be Ekblad solid? I think he's got more offensive upside than a guy like Ekblad, more like a Dahlin kind of feel to it. But there's so many good defensemen here that it's like a little bit, you could argue either way. Keaton Verhoff, I wanted to have Carl's here, but I just keep thinking about his potential. His size being 6'4", what is he, like 212 or something already as a young man. I think this is absolutely amazing. Plus Canadian boy, got time to develop. Him and Reed and Carl's, in my opinion, are the top 3, but man, I could see if someone wanted Smits to jump ahead of some of these guys, I don't blame you either. I think there's 4 really good defensemen in this draft, and I've got Verhoff with potential there at 2. There's an argument to be made that 3 and 4 could be ahead of Verhoff, but I think consensus-wise, it's going to be Verhoff. And so some of you are looking at us listening on RevTrev. This is kind of standard. I think where it gets different is so Verhoff's a right-handed shot defenseman, right? So that's an important piece to the puzzle. Now, the one is Carson Karls is he is a left-handed shot defenseman, if memory serves me correctly. I should have that information up. Let me bring up the defenseman here just to make sure. I'm sure that he's a left-handed shot defenseman. So, and then the other one is Smits. Is he I can't remember if he's left or right. So, yes, Karls is a left-handed defenseman. He's 6'2", 198. He's if you want Karls ahead of Verhoff, I have no problem with that. Absolutely no problem with that. But Smits is starting to turn heads. This Latvian beauty is 6'3", 209 left-handed shot defenseman. I think that he is going to have a very solid career too. I don't know. Can he be as good as someone like Drew Doughty? But I don't know. I think Drew Doughty had more offensive upside than Albert Smits. But these guys, if you can get any one of these 4, so what teams are looking for players? I think some teams just can't pass up on those. Now, Daxon Rudolph is also another great defenseman that's sitting there and I think has a lot of upside. But in saying this, because it's so deep, you don't have to trade up to get a guy like Daxon Rudolph, who's from the Prince Albert Raiders. And this kid is 6'3", 205. The size of these defensemen are pretty good. I'm very pleased with what I'm saying. And a lot of people have him really high. Like he's a top 10 pick for sure on most people's draft boards. But what's great about Daxon Rudolph is he's the right-handed shot defenseman that everyone wants. They're hard to find, really hard to find. For example, Canucks traded a first-round pick to get Hronek from Detroit. That's what it costs to get a solid right-handed shot defenseman. And Hronek's been on our top pairing ever since he's arrived. He is that solid of a player. And I think he could be easily a top pairing guy, no problem. If not, you could put him on the second pairing if you're that deep, but most teams don't have that depth. The honorable mentions is Gustafsson, Malte Gustafsson. That he, to me, is very fantastic. Whoever lands him, I think he's more of a defensive defenseman in all honesty, but I think he'll still score. Like, how many goals are defensemen scoring these days anyways? You've got the Bouchards and back in the day with Carlson, Lidstrom, those guys, but those don't, there's not many of the Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar type guys. But Gustafsson is a guy that's going to play physical and he's going to help your club no matter what, whether he plays top pairing or if he goes second line pairing. That I think you win with this guy. And then Ryan Lynn from the Vancouver Giants. He's got offensive upside, kind of reminds a lot of people like Lane Hudson. Not saying he's going to be that good. He might. Who knows? We'll see. But Ryan Lynn, left-handed shot defenseman. So that's my top 5 with a couple honorable mentions. I'm just going to dive into a couple comments and see what people are saying about these guys. All right. So all 5 of these defenders will be top pairing guys. Reed feels like the best to be a true number 1 defender, Mike says. Absolutely. So depending on what happens at the draft, we're going to be talking about, I think probably the biggest winner at the draft is going to be Chicago because of who Vancouver drafts at 3, might pass on a superstar guy. Okay. Let's just see what Sensei Dean has to say. Mind-blowing, but I'd rather trade whatever to get Chicago's pick also. I know people are saying to trade our 3rd to get 2nd, but I think the price is too high. I think the price for 4th is going to be difficult too. Like, what would you have to give up? Would you have to give up Hronek and something? And I would consider that. 3 and 4 this year in the draft is going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm with you, Sensei Dean. if we could get that 4th overall pick, that'd be great. Okay, let's dive into, let's go to the forwards. Okay, this one's a little bit of a no-brainer as well at the top. So I have Gavin McKenna as 1A and Ivar Stenberg as 1B. I can see a scenario where the Toronto Maple Leafs take Stenberg over McKenna. A lot of people are like, what? You're crazy. Listen, Stenberg has been ripping it up. He's a teenager in a men's league, and he's been playing so well. And then he goes to the Worlds and he just puts on a show. And at the end of the day, this Stenberg guy is absolutely stellar. This is the guy I want the Canucks to pick at 3 if possible. Most people think that San Jose is going to pick him at 2. But I think that Gavin McKenna, you take him at 1 just because of potential. And he had a great day at the Combine today. I think McKenna is going to have a fantastic career. But I believe that this McKenna Stenberg is closer than you think. And that's why I have him 1A, 1B. And I do think they're the 2 top players in the NHL draft. Here's the thing that's crazy is I'm comparing them more to the Taylor Hall, Tyler Seguin kind of sweepstakes when they drafted. Both great players, worth it, had good careers. And that's the kind of ceiling that I'm looking at, is that's the kind of player you get. And I'd be very happy if the Canucks could land either one of those guys. I think Toronto's going to pick McKenna. And the reason why I think Toronto's going to pick McKenna is because they flew to Whitehorse and had an interview with him. So that is really, really interesting. I would love to hear what SGA thinks about his San Jose Sharks. What do you think? Who do you think they're going to pick at 2 if McKenna's off the board? Please let me know. I really would appreciate that. Okay. The third one, so 1A, 1B, is Wyatt Cullen. Now, here's the thing about Wyatt Cullen that you might not know. 6'1", 181, and he's 17 years old. He is a left shot center or a forward. So and you know what? He's played a whole bunch of games with the USHL, and I just love his talent. Just looking at some of his numbers that come up. So when, in 40 games had 45 points, I just think his upside is really good. So I have him at 3. Then Ethan Belches at 4. Again, a monster of a man. Like, honestly, everyone, how in the world what are they growing on trees for some of these guys? Let's see what his exact, I want to make sure. He's played for the Windsor Spitfires this year, and he's 6'5", 229. And he can score. So in his last 10 games, had 9 points. Man, he's a playmaking, but he builds plays with a collection of short passes, taking pucks off the wall and in the defensive zone, bumping them to accelerate teammates, and then drawing give and go and tic-tac plays. Like this guy, I don't know. He's in there for my top 4, but the number 5 is Nikita Klepov. I'm all in on this kid. I've watched enough of his highlights, seen his game, and I just think he's a natural born scorer. Any team that gets Klepov is going to have a great addition with a guy like Klepov, in my opinion. Now, obviously, all these kids have to be able to make a jump and get there. But this is the guy, like, I'm kind of hoping that he falls back, but I don't think he's going to fall back far enough for the Canucks to get him. I think he gets taken before 24. But if we got Klepov, man alive, I'm all in. Now, my honorable mentions are Oscar Hemming, who I think will have a solid NHL career. Now, the one thing about Hemming, I believe Finnish background, got a little bit of a mean streak, not like a fighter kind of thing, but played in Boston College this year, NCAA. It takes some time for these guys to develop, but 6'4", 198, 17 years old, shoots left. And he's just more than a great complementary player, driving the play in some shifts and orchestrating the power play, prioritizing his heavy shot, but also sending deceptive backdoor passes. I think that's a great elite prospects had that on their site. And I just think, wow. Now, guys, just so you know, this is the forwards. This is not the centers. We're getting to the centers right after that. Okay. Right after that. By the way, you guys like my suit? This is, I dress up for these. I guess it's a little hard to see, isn't it? But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic to see. Now, Morozov is a guy that I think the Canucks could get at 24. And this is the guy that I'm like hoping if the Canucks, whoever they draft, whether it's a defenseman or a forward or a centerman at 3, we need all those things on our team, right? But when you're sitting there watching, a guy like Morozov, Russian-born descent, 6'3", 200 pounds. Guys, I don't know why you wouldn't want him on your roster. If you look at all the consensus consolidated rankings, they're talking 21, 22, 25, 26, 23. NHL Central Scouting for North American skaters has them number 10, but everyone has them. The lowest other than that is 18, but most of them in the 20s. And if we get Morozov, he's a true defensive stalwart, and he crushes angles to the outside and emphatically runs over the puck carrier. And he has a motor, it says, that never stops. I mean, why wouldn't you want that? He blows up the opposition cycle, retrieves a ton of pucks, and even sets picks on opponents. What? If we land him at 24, I will be over the moon excited. Okay, so I want to dive into this. What you guys think. So some of you got it mixed up. You got some centers in as forwards. I have centers separated. Okay, centers separated. So West says that San Jose is taking Reed. It's not who is NHL ready now. Stenberg is a 80 to 85 point winger, great winger. Chase Reed in 4 years will be a 55 to 60 point right-handed shot defenseman that plays 24 minutes a night. I appreciate that. SGA Sports Talk says that San Jose Sharks are going to select Ivar Stenberg. That's great. That's bad for Vancouver. It's good for us because then there's no conversation should they take Stenberg or Malhotra there. Adam says, I think I'd be amiss if San Jose doesn't take Reed. They need a defenseman. It's hard to get defenseman. It'll be a leave 2.0. I'm going to the San Jose Sharks NHL Draft watch party on June 26th. The 3 of my friends. That's cool. Love your hat. Thank you very much. It's quite nice, isn't it? I think I got this one at the Pro Shop, if I remember correctly. San Jose needs a defenseman, and they also need wingers. They also need wingers. So I can see them going either way. Stenberg reminds me so much of Hischier, great two-way forward. But guys, Heiskanen and Makar are the gem of the draft that year, and we talk so much about Hischier or Nolan Patrick. You know what? Hischier is a center, so I see what you're saying, the two-way forward, but really Hischier is a center, so he even has more value than some of these guys. So yeah, poor Nolan Patrick, he got okay. I still remember Philly jumped up in that draft just like San Jose and took Nolan Patrick. Yeah, didn't work out for them. Okay, let's dive into the centers because that's what everyone's here for. This is going to be the shocker for a lot of you guys. I love Caleb Malhotra. I think the Canucks have Caleb Malhotra as their number 2 guy on their board. I think with Manny Malhotra there, They're going to go with Malhotra at 3, no matter if Stenberg's there. That's what I think. That is exactly what I think. But on my board, and I've been watching him at the Worlds, watching him play with men again, and everyone's like, oh, he's too small and all that kind of stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at him and I'm just like, this kid, in my opinion, is so talented, playing with men, showing the world that he can play center or right wing. He's only 5'9", but he's 181 pounds. And apparently Thomas Drance said he saw him live and he's like, he looks thick. He looks thick. And the type of player, cerebral tactician, dangler, playmaker, I like him. This is why I say we should consider trading back in the draft. And if we can't get the guy we want, we should trade back in the draft. But at 3, you're going to get Stenberg or Malhotra. And I think with them so high in Malhotra, I would trade back if I was the Canucks with someone like Calgary or Seattle and get a couple second-round picks. Seattle actually has another first-round pick. They could jump up to 3, get a guy like Stenberg. Then the Canucks could hope that Malhotra will fall to them, but I think Calgary takes Malhotra. So trade with Calgary at 6. Get 2 second-round picks as well, because this is a rebuild. This is a build, not a thing. And if Caleb Malhotra goes to the Rangers or, say, the Chicago Blackhawks, which I do not think they're going to go, then you pick Viego Bork and just be happy. But Viego Bork is my number 1 center on this list. I think Caleb Malhotra is very good. I like his size. I like what he did in the playoffs. I like that his dad has helped him and shaped him. And people who continue to say you can't draft Caleb Malhotra and have Manny Malhotra as the coach, I just think it's incorrect. Listen, this season in 67 games, he had 84 points with the Brantford Bulldogs. I thought he was fantastic, and he plays a physical game. 6'2", 185, right? So people have him as high as 2 and as low as 20, but I think there's a bunch of people that are lower on him. But people have him at 4, at 7. He's all over the map here. So it says on his draft guide, with rapid handling moves, give and goes, tic-tac-toe plays, one-timers in reduced space, and hook passes, Malhotra filled his highlight reel just as often as he was preventing the opposition from adding to theirs. I mean, he's got a good size frame, but if you think about it, you're like, take the bigger guy. Well, this is the Canadian boy as well. Birthplace was Toronto, okay? 6'2", 185, but what did I say that Viego Bork was? 185. Wasn't Viego Bork? Wasn't he? Oops, I missed it. Wasn't he 190 pounds? If we check that out properly. My apologies, guys. It takes a 181. So literally, we're talking 4 pounds difference. All he is taller. I don't know. And then 3, Mannix, Deganey. I think he's going to be solid, have solid. Now, a lot of people are like, what? You don't have Tynan Lawrence at 3? I have lost a little bit of faith with Tynan Lawrence. The thing about Tynan Lawrence is potential. He's had an awful NCAA start. I get that he's a teenager playing in a 21-year-old league. I get that, okay? I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. That's why I still have him in my top 5, his potential. But I think people start leapfrogging him, and I even think there's a potential opportunity for Caban to even leapfrog Lawrence. Don't be surprised on draft day if Lawrence actually drops farther. I might be a little bit higher on him than most. Alexander Caban, the Swedish born player, 17 years old, center, 6'1", 187, shoots left. and a lot of people like him, but they don't know what to do with him. But it says that command's motor and battle level are what set him apart from the mass majority of his peers. Guys, tirelessly engaging attackers along the walls and in the defensive end, doing whatever it takes to win body position in battles. I think this guy is going to have a solid NHL career, and he's fun to watch. Dagenais, is that how is it? Dagenais? I apologize for bashing it or wrecking his pronunciation of his name. 18-year-old, 6'4", 196, shoots left. He is a sky high activity rate. Looks like he's been shot out of a cannon in transition, and he uses that speed to chip in and chase plays, and he hits the goal line before defenders can react. This guy, I think, is going to be very valuable on other people's teams. So honorable mentions, though, I have Liam Ruck and Savanto. Okay, Oliver Savanto. I have Liam Ruck. I probably should have him at the bottom of this. I don't mind the Ruck twins. I don't think the Canucks are going to go after the Ruck twins, even though they connected. Here's the thing about the Ruck twins that's interesting. The Ruck twins are going back to Medicine Hat next year. So they're going back to the WHL, where they led the team in scoring, led the WHL in scoring. And then it sounds like they're considering going to the NCAA the year after that. So if you're all pumped about getting the Ruck twins, think in 3 years, they could possibly try to make this team. But it'd probably be Medicine Hat Tigers, NCAA for at least 1 year, and then maybe Abbotsford. So we won't see them probably until year 4, the way that they're trending. And they're looking for the long haul, not the short game there. So if you got to reconsider, like Canuck fans, a lot of people are like, I want the Ruck twins. Even the Flames are talking about them and all that kind of stuff. But love the idea. I just think that we're going to get, if Command is there or Savanto is there, I think they go with someone like that instead. I hope Savanto is Savanto, I think it is how you pronounce it, is a guy that you're just sitting there and you're just hoping he's there at 24 for us as well. But there's a lot of good defensemen there as well. He's 6'3", 209, guys. So he powers through, checks with ease, protects the puck. This is from elite prospects along the boards by handling the puck with one hand and keeping pressure at bay with the other. Doesn't that just sound like Todd Bertuzzi to you? Because I think it does to me as well. So these are my top 5. Now I'm going to do my top 5 overalls. I'm going to get into some comments. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to call it a night, everyone. I'm going to call it a night. So let's dive into this. Let's dive into this again. Do I think the Flames go Bjork? I definitely think that they will seriously consider that. I really, really do. Why wouldn't they? I actually think the New York Rangers might consider Vioga Bork. But those defensemen are so good. Like, honestly, how do you pass up? If the draft goes like I think it's going to go, 1, McKenna, 2, Stenberg, 3, Malhotra. That's what I think it goes. Then Chicago has to go Reed, Verhoff at 5 or Carls for the New York Rangers. How do you say no to that? That means Calgary gets an option of Carls or Bjork there at that spot, or Smits. Maybe they go Smits. So the Flames could get Bjork, no problem. Let's go back to this one, the centers. Justin, I really wish we could trade back. I really don't like Caleb at 3, especially over Stenberg. I agree. Not over Stenberg. We got the Bjork brothers. Yeah, exactly. Right. If Lawrence did make the jump in the NCAA in the middle of the season, he goes top 5. I agree, Jason. He just did not produce. He really struggled. And that's okay. It's okay to struggle now. because these guys are prospects. They're people that need to be developed. So Dragons are the enemies is here and says, what happens when Lawrence outscores Malhotra next year at the University of Boston, the Boston University? I mean, I don't think that happens, but that would be awful. That would be awful. Yeah, that's the other thing is Caleb Malhotra is not coming to Vancouver next year when we draft him. He's going to play in the NCAA. So he's 5'9". I think you're talking about Bjork on that one. Okay. Malhotra will cause locker room issues. Will he cause locker rooms? They want Cal Foot, but never happened. I don't think listen, this is why I don't think it's a big deal, because if Manny Malhotra is the coach, I don't care who you have, you've got to be playing your number 3 overall pick a lot. You need to develop this guy. So whether it's your son or it's Stenberg or it's Reed or it's Verhoff or whoever it is, Bjork, guys, you have to play him. So there's no thing. So Malhotra reminds me of Matty Beniers, good center, but not a star. We'll find out. And Beniers went second. Yeah. Johnny Canuck, Dagenau played the wing this year and is set to play wing again next year. Oh, I didn't know that, but prefers to play center. Okay. Interesting. I did not know that. Thank you, Johnny Canuck. Dragon says Lawrence 5 points in the last 5 games in the NCAA to close the season. That's fair. Just the rest of the season wasn't good. The class 3, McKenna, Stenberg, Reed. I agree. Malhotra's 1.25 points per game in the OHL isn't that impressive. His playoff run was better at 1.73, but still. Adam, great point. Liam Ruck is the winger. His brother played center sometimes. I thought it was Liam played center and Marcus played wing. Dang it. If that's the case, my apologies, everyone. That's a major fail. Tynan Lawrence will be the steal of the draft. Mark my words, his second year in the NCAA, much better. Could be. We don't need any of our picks to play anytime soon. That's fair. And Malhotra shot at 38% this year in an OHL that's heavily depleted on talent with the mass exodus of the NCAA. That's fair. Okay, let's get into my top 5. And I know I'm 32 minutes in, but I will just want to hit my promo, and then we're going to dive right into it. So glad you're here. All right, everyone, this is my top 5 overall. This is where I have them ranked, guys. I think that Gavin McKenna and Ivar Stenberg are the cream of the crop. They are going to both have good careers in the NHL. I also think Chase Reed's going to have a good career in the NHL. Have a feeling Keaton Verhoff is going to as well. Then there is a drop off. So I would say that the top 3 are there and set. Everyone else has got question marks. I've got Verhoff on the next tier of players with Bjork. And then I have another tier down that has Caleb Malhotra and Carson Karls. Now, Karls could be above Malhotra. I probably should have put him above there. Now, hindsight 2020, just talking it through. But this is my top 5. Overall, this is what I would want the draft to look like. I would not be opposed if the Canucks drafted Chase Reed at 3. Now, a lot of Canuck fans don't want him there because it's like he's an American player, and look what Quinn Hughes is, and I just don't really care about that argument. Honestly, you surround a guy with a team, and there's an exciting place to play. Hard to replace incredible right-handed shot defenseman, everyone. But I think the Canucks would have Verhoff ahead of Reed. I think the Canucks have Malhotra ahead of Stenberg. That is what I believe that the Vancouver Canucks are doing. I don't agree with them if that's what they have, and no matter who they draft, they say, "Hey, we had them high on our board. We have number 2." They're gonna support their guy. Every team does that, and they're gonna say what they say. I would love to know what you guys think about my top 5 players here. I would really like that. I like your 5 centers. Might switch 4 and 5, but yeah, I agree. I'm gonna say, like you, Viego, most pro skilled, but playing against big crunching hits, I get scared. I think that's fine. That's fine. You're the GOAT. Are you talking about me? I'm not the greatest of all time. Absolutely not. But love being here. Love making content. And glad you're enjoying it. Glad you're enjoying it. So, yeah. So this is my top 5, everyone. This is who I got. I really hope the Canucks take Stenberg if they have a chance at 3. If San Jose takes them, then I just think they're going the whole. How can you not take him with Manny there? How can you not? So I think it's going to be probably, if it goes McKenna, Stenberg, it's just going to be a boring draft because it's just going to be the same thing. It's like we've known this for months. Feels like it's just a given. There's nothing. Now someone trades up and all that whole thing, that will make it way more exciting. So you like complimenting me. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Everyone needs encouragement, right? Well, guys, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this later, I really appreciate you being here. These are my top picks overall. And I know a lot of people have this strategy, take the best player available. They call it BPA for short, best player available. That's what we need to do. So Justin says, I'm kind of glad we didn't win the lottery and had to pick McKenna. He's a soft premier player. So you don't like Malhotra or McKenna? Wow, that actually surprises me. That surprises me. I like both of them. I just think that McKenna is going to have a solid NHL career. Interesting, Justin. I'm glad you. I don't mind you. You might be right. I might be wrong. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. No, I'm joking. Yeah. Thanks so much again, everyone. You're gonna see here, McKenna just ripped off 15 shitting ups. I know, guys. He is killing the combine. He's doing so good. He's doing so good. All right. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to call it a night. And stay tuned. Got tons more Canucks and draft content coming out. And we're going to have a very interesting post-draft conversation. And then there's the free agency, which there's not a lot of free agents. So draft is it for me, guys. I think the draft is going to be very, very interesting. All right. Have a good night. Of course, always believe in blue. Let's just keep we're rebuilding this bad boy. And now we continue to cheer our team, even though we're the worst in the league. Go Canucks, go.